Hey, what's going on, movie sweaters all over the world? You already know who it is. It's your favorite internet sweaty, your boy, MS21, Mikey Savage 21, whatever the heck you want to call me. And today, we're going to be discussing the Oscars 2018, the 90th Academy Awards. We're going to be going over the winners, checking out my predictions, seeing how I did. Now, unfortunately, I got a little sluggish last week. I was sick, and I had work going on as well. On top of that, no excuse, but I was unable to get a prediction video put up in time because it would have taken a minute to write out the script. It would have taken a minute to edit it and then overall record it in general. And then, of course, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to make sure it looks as cool as possible. So it's going to take a minute. So what I did yesterday, before the Oscars went up, I posted part 1 and part 2, my Oscar predictions and everything. I went from best picture all the way to best visual effects and everything, and I posted it across my social media. Now, it didn't go through on my Twitter, unfortunately, but it did go through on my Facebook and everything. So everybody who follows me on Facebook, at official MS21 was able to see my thoughts, as well as my personal Facebook as well. All right, so basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through, respond, give my thoughts on the results and everything over the overall ceremony, and then talk about my predictions and picks. Okay, so again, I had broke this down into part 1. So we're going to look at part 1. It's maybe going to pop across the screen. I think I'm going to have it put up here. But if you're looking at it right now, you see my predictions for Best Picture. I'm not going to lie. I thought Phantom Thread was going to take it, but Guillermo del Toro's film, ultimately The Shape of Water, came through and pulled in the win. So I got that one wrong. For Best Director, I also thought this was going to be Paul Thomas Anderson. But once again, Del Toro pulls it out with The Shape of Water again. And again, I'm not mad at that at all because I've heard The Shape of Water is a fantastic movie. I have not had a chance to check it out personally, but I've heard how much of an amazing movie it is. So knowing that it won 2 Academy Awards in both Best Picture and Best Director categories respectively makes me even more excited to want to check it out and everything. Okay, so for Best Actor, again, I had Daniel Day-Lewis. Ultimately, it ended up going to Gary Oldman for The Darkest Hour as his portrayal of Winston Churchill. And like I said, that was actually my original first pick, but I went with my second pick. And a lot of these, I ended up going with my second pick, and sometimes it paid off, sometimes it didn't pay off. This is one of those cases. Again, if you've seen The Darkest Hour, then you can see that basically doesn't even look like Gary Oldman. Doesn't even sound like Gary Oldman at all. The way that they did the makeup and the effects on him, making him look exactly like Winston Churchill, is amazing. And again, I have not personally seen the movie, but there is a scene in the movie where apparently he's inside of I think that people are describing it as a church, but he's in some part of a building, and it's just him and another person just sitting there and talking and having dialogue back and forth. And it is the most engaging dialogue that we've seen in film in years. So again, hats off to him for that. Okay, so for Best Actress, I had Margot Robbie pulling it off. Unfortunately, she didn't get it. We got it. Frances McDormand and won instead for 3 Billboards Outside of Ebbing, Missouri, for her portrayal as Mildred Hayes. Once again, another film I did not get to see, so I didn't get to really see her performance. But again, not mad about Frances McDormand at all. Okay, so for Best Supporting Actor, I had Woody Harrelson. Originally, he was not my first pick. Originally, I had Sam Rockwell, and sure enough, Sam Rockwell pulled out the win with 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. Once again, I am so sad that I did not get a chance to see that movie. Then I think I would have did a little bit better. So if you're keeping score right now, I haven't gotten any of them right, basically. All right, Best Supporting Actress. Once again, I got that wrong. I should have went with my first choice, which was Allison Janney, but I ended up trying to, pull out for Octavia Spencer for The Shape of Water because I thought The Shape of Water was just going to kind of sweep the board across. But no, again, Allison Janney pulled it out from the little clip that they showed me. I understand why. Best Original Screenplay. This is the one where it might get a little controversial. I originally picked The Big Sick. That was my original answer. Get Out won. Now, I know Jordan Peele has mentioned that he has borrowed heavily from The Stepford Wives. and everything. And again, people make the argument, well, that was like taking people's body parts and like cloning people and stuff, where this is just like putting the person in this subconscious space and then just taking over their body basically with the and I get it. It is a cool, neat idea, and I love Get Out. I mean, go check out my review. I'll make sure I have it linked up top. When Get Out came out last year, I went and saw the movie about 4 or 5 times. I thought it was an amazing movie, and I'm not mad that Get Out won last night for Best Original Screenplay. However, I would make the argument for The Big Sick, though. Emily V. Gordon and what Kamal Nanjiani were able to do with the screenplay to me was amazing, especially if someone who's seen The Big Sick. Seen The Big Sick. I even have The Big Sick on Blu-ray and DVD. Have watched it again. Fantastic movie, and did not expect much out of it because I wasn't getting that much buzz about it when it came out at the time. But then after seeing it and then hearing the buzz and everything, I really thought this was going to be one for the taking. So that's the only one that I'm a little upset about. But other than that, it is what it is. Okay. Now again, Best Adapted Screenplay. Okay, I voted for Logan, but I had a feeling that Logan wasn't going to win. My overall pick was between Molly's Game and Call Me By Your Name. Once again, haven't seen Molly's Game, haven't seen Call Me By Your Name, but just the original thought and concept behind it just kind of seemed like, yeah, this is going to be the movie that's going to edge it out. Again, Call Me By Your Name. Again, based on a novel by Andre Akeman. I think that's how you say his name. I have no idea. I'm going to keep it in here. If I mess up, it is what it is. But yeah, Call Me By Your Name ended up winning for Best Adapted Screenplay. I was really hoping that Logan would edge it out, but like I said, I understand why people went with Call Me By Your Name. And I think, again, Molly's Game is probably second in place. Logan, to me, probably was third, and then like I said, it's hard because of The Disaster Artist, because The Disaster Artist was so funny and such a great movie. But I would have picked Logan over Mudbound any day, though. Okay, Best Animated Feature. I knew it was going to be Coco. Look, when you have a year when Boss Baby and movies like Ferdinand get nominated, and again, I know some people are like, oh, Ferdinand wins so John Cena could come out. Look, I love Johnny Cena to death. And again, I love The Boss Baby. I love Alec Baldwin. I think he is one of the funniest comedians that we have working today. But Coco was a sure-win for this movie. And like I said, I knew Coco was going to get it. Best Foreign Language Film. I picked A Fantastic Woman. Sure enough, A Fantastic Woman won. So finally, I'm starting to, you'll see a little bit here where I'm starting to get on track and everything. Again, haven't seen A Fantastic Woman, but, I figured this was going to be the year for more Spanish-speaking Americans, for more Hispanics in general in film, and especially with Del Toro. And again, Fantastic Women just proved that even more last night. All right, Best Documentary Feature. I'm not going to lie, I picked Strong Island, but, Icarus ended up pulling it out for the win. But not too upset about that. Best Documentary Short Subject. I picked Knife Skills, because I thought it was just an interesting concept. Heaven is a Traffic Jam on the 405 or 405th. Ended up edging it out. It's cool. Best Live Action Silent Film. Once again, had not seen anything, so I went with My Nephew Emmett. Ultimately, The Silent Child won. Not much to say about that. Best Animated Short Film. Now, this is one where I get, again, on a hot streak, Dear Basketball. With Glenn Keane and Kobe Bryant. And again, I've seen the short for Dear Basketball. It is really powerful, something amazing. If you are a Kobe Bryant fan or you're just a basketball fan in general, then this is a movie that you definitely need to check out. Like, seriously, this is a fantastic little animated short film, something that you could use in a classroom for those teachers who might be listening to this. It's a movie, again, talking about basketball and the way that Kobe Bryant narrates it. And then you have John Williams' score in the background and everything. That coupled with this is sure in for Best Animated Short Film. Okay, Best Original Score. I'm not going to lie. When it came to Best Original Score, I was a little torn and everything. But I ultimately went with John Williams for Star Wars. And I I knew it was between him. I thought it was going to be between him or Hans Zimmer, but ultimately, Alexandra Desplat for The Shape of Water ended up edging it out. Best original song, I had Remember Me from Coco again. I know This Is Me is fantastic and everything, but I knew Remember Me was going to win because, again, this seemed like the year where a lot of more Hispanics were being represented in the Academy Awards this year. So I figured Remember Me from the movie Coco and how impactful it was going to win. Although I will say that This Is Me is a little bit more entertaining of a song, I'm not going to take away from its win last night. Best sound editing and best sound mixing. Both of these are films that I picked Baby Driver to win. I really was rooting for Baby Driver for both categories. Didn't win. Dunkirk ended up winning both for best sound editing and sound mixing. Because, again, when you hear the way that Baby Driver is edited to the beats of the different music playing and everything, the way it's mixed on the overall film, I really thought it was going to edge it out. I really did. All right, best production design. Really didn't know for best production design. I went with Paul Denham, and sure enough, Paul Denham right there, The Shape of Water. I knew the overall production of the film. And again, no, not taking away from anything from Darkest Hour or from Beauty and the Beast. Both production design wise, all the films that were listed look beautiful, but I had a feeling that, again, The Shape of Water was going to edge it out. Best cinematography, I knew it was going to be Blade Runner 2049. Because when you look at the cinematography of that movie, again, when I went and saw the movie, and I talked about it in my review, also make sure I leave a link to that up top. The movie just looks freaking beautiful. It's just like amazing. The colors and the different patterns and how it's shot and everything. It looks amazing. And again, it's a shame that the movie didn't do as well as it could have in the box office, unfortunately. Okay, so for best makeup, hair, and styling, once again, didn't know what to go with, so I ended up going with Darkest Hour. Bada boom, bada boom. Got it. Because, again, when you look at Victoria and Abdul and Wonder, what really makeup and hairstyling? I know for Wonder, the way that the kid's face looked and everything did look realistic. It looked like this actually would happen to a kid, what a kid would look like with this type of disease. But when you just look at The Darkest Hour and how you can't even tell that is Gary Oldman, let alone his voice, but the way he looks, you can't even tell that is Gary Oldman. That is what you do with best makeup and hairstyling. Best costume design. Once again, one of those ones I wasn't sure quite to go with. I ended up going with Beauty and the Beast for best costume design. Got it wrong. The Phantom Thread ended up pulling it out. Best film editing. This is one that I also got right. Lee Smith. Lee Smith ended up winning this one with the movie Dunkirk. Again, best visual effects. Okay, this is my second controversial one for the night. I truly think that War for the Planet of the Apes should have won that, and that is the one that I had the most problem with. This movie had freaking apes coming to life. I get Blade Runner 2049 was beautiful. Again, the way it was shot and directed and everything was great. But I could tell that it was a sci-fi fantasy movie. With War for the Planet of the Apes, it looked like real apes talking and communicating and riding on horses and interacting with humans. When you have done something to the level of that, when all three of these newer films, that's when you know that you've done something. And again, I feel like this is a snub in terms of best visual effects. Again, with Blade Runner 49, I would have even gone with more so with Kong than I would have Blade Runner 2049 because, again, it looks beautiful, but I could tell it's sci-fi fantasy. With War for the Planet of the Apes, it looked real, and you can make the argument for Kong Skull Island. Kong looked like a real giant gorilla. Maybe it's just something about apes on film and whatnot that makes them look so realistic and everything. But that's just me. Again, the only two problems I had, best visual effects, I think that should have gone to War for the Planet of the Apes. I'm still going to argue that. And again, best original screenplay, still think they should have went with The Big Sick, but ended up getting Jordan Peele's Get Out. That's fine with me. But guys, let me know down in the comment section below, what did you think of the Oscars? What did you think of the ceremony? Did you like Jimmy Kimmel as a host? I'm glad to see him return. I thought all the bits they had in there were funny, especially the bit where he was taking the different celebrities and they ended up going into the theater, which is literally a couple of blocks over from where they were actually shooting the Oscars at live. That was quite funny. I loved all the performances and everything. I love the overall theme and message about equality. I mean, we had a couple of political jokes be thrown in there, but it wasn't nothing that was standoutish too much. Again, everything looked like it went off with a hitch, especially compared to last year's with the whole flub of Moonlight and La La Land. So glad we didn't have that this year. But yeah, I enjoyed the Oscars. Like I said last night on my Snapchat, I posted I had turkey sandwiches while everybody else was eating pizza and chips and dip and whatever else. I was eating turkey sandwiches, but I was still enjoying the movie. And then I also coupled that with watching it live with John Campea as well. So, you know, I had a lot of fun last night. Again, I didn't like having to stay up till 10 o'clock watching something movie related. I feel like I don't even spend that much time in the theaters watching one movie, unless it's Lord of the Rings or something like that, or Harry Potter, when those movies just go past 2 hours or so and start leading into 3 hours. But yeah, they definitely need to figure out a way to kind of make it a little bit shorter. But yeah, I enjoyed the Oscars. Let me know what you thought about the Oscars, as well as my guesses. Did you agree with all of my guesses, as well as the overall winners? What do you think? Again, what do you think about Jordan Peele winning for Get Out for Best Original Screenplay? And what do you think about the Best Visual Effects winner of Blade Runner 2049? Do you think that was an Oscar snub for War for the Planet of the Apes? I certainly do, but I want to hear your thoughts down below. Thank you again, as always, for watching the video and supporting the channel. This is your boy, MS21, signing out.